Und damit ein herzliches Moin, meine Leute, die Kleine meinen Kanal gefunden haben. Ich bin aber auf LINEᵀᴹ und wie ihr seht, wir spielen wieder The Stanley Parable. Beim letzten Mal haben wir, was haben wir beim letzten Mal gemacht? Mir ist die Aufnahme schon wieder 2 Tage her. Oder einen Tag. Ach genau, beim letzten Mal sind wir ein bisschen sehr der Verwirrung unterlegen und irgendwie macht gerade absolut gar nichts mehr Sinn, deswegen gucken wir einfach mal, was die Tage passiert. Was jetzt in dem Video passiert und dann hoffentlich wird sich das Ganze aufklären. Viel Spaß!
Okay, I'm getting weirded out by whatever this place is. I don't care what might happen this time, I have to restart. Alright, I've got a solution. This time, to make sure we don't get lost, I've employed the help of the Stanley Parable Adventure Line. Just follow the line. How simple is that?
Trading Mark. Ich habe irgendwie absolut keinen Bock. Okay, der will da so lang. Ich will da aber nicht lang. Ich will hier lang.
No, no, I'm down. We're leaving it up to the line from now on.
Schade. Hätte ja sein können, dass ich was... Oh Mann. Das war... Ich glaube, ich habe noch nie so viel gelacht wie hier. Kann ich Solitär spielen? Nee, schade, leider nicht. Okay. Bitte Linie folgen, bitte Linie folgen, bitte Linie folgen.
You see? The line knows where the story is. It's over in this direction. Onward, Stanley, to destiny. Though, here's a thought. Wouldn't wherever we end up be our destination, even if there's no story there? Or to put it another way, is the story of no destination still a story? Simply by the act of moving forward, are we implying a journey such that a destination is inevitably conjured into being via the very manifestation of the nature of life itself? Okay, Stanley, I need to follow this train of thought for a minute. Just stick with me. Now, we can both agree that the nature of existence is in fact a byproduct of one's subjective experience of that existence, right? Okay. Now, if my experience of your existence rests inside of your subjective experience of this office, is this office, in fact, the skeleton of my own relative experiential mental subjective construct? Whoa. Hang on. That got a bit weird back there. Well, I'd like to apologize. Not sure where I was going with all that. You know what? I think what we need right now is a bit of music to lighten the mood.
Wieso geht die jetzt hier in der Wand lang? Ach, Mann. Fragezeichen. Ein Fragezeichen, das aus ganz vielen Fragezeichen besteht. Das ist ja mal interessant. Okay. Hier eine Decke lang, dann hier lang und... Hä? Ja, Fragezeichen. Verwirrt bin ich auch. 9, 8. Eben. Na, guck mal, das zählt hier runter. Hier lang. 6. Ah, ne, doch nicht. 38. E5. Das ist... Zickzack. Ich gehe. Doch, ich muss da weiter folgen, weil es hier sonst nirgends weitergeht. Annual Reviews. Monthly Ledgers. Corporate Imbalances. Warte mal, mein Auge juckt. Hä? Hä? Was ist... Was? Gehen wir mal hier, ne?
Cut the music. Go back and look at that fern. Stanley, this fern will be very important later in the story. Make sure you study it closely and remember it carefully. You won't want to miss anything.
Na gut, dann machen wir einen Screenshot davon.
Wait, what? We're back at the office? No. Line, you do know we're looking for the Stanley Parable, right? The story?
Hä?
Is any of this ringing a bell? Still missing the doors. Did we make a mistake following the line?
Eigentlich
Perhaps we
nicht.
could have found the story on our own.
Da kann ich nicht lang. Na guck mal, ich könnte hier lang. Hey, dann lande ich nur wieder zurück im Büro. Hä? Von da kommen wir? Also, hä? Das ist gerade ein richtiges... Einfach ein richtiger Verwirrungsmoment. Ist einfach alles reine Verwirrung. Oh Mann.
Oh, no, not again. Line, how could you have done this to us? And after we trusted you, after everything we've been through, you... Oh, I can't take this anymore. To hell with it. Restart.
Hä? Okay.
You know what, Stanley? I say forget the adventure line. What's it ever done for us? We're intelligent people, right? Why can't we make up our own story? Something exciting, daring, mysterious. Ooh, this all sounds perfectly doable. Why don't we simply start wandering in, well, I don't know. How about this direction?
Ja. Fuck the rules.
Yes, this is exciting. Just me and Stanley forging a new path, a new story. Well, it could be anything. What do you want our story to be? Go wild. Use your imagination. Whatever it might be, Stanley, I'm ready for it.
Okay. Gehen wir mal weiter hier und gucken mal, was passiert.
Oh, no, not you again. Stanley, I'd also like to veto the line from having any role in our awesome new story. No lines or monitor rooms. Just don't acknowledge it, and we should be fine.
Okay. Ah, guck mal, schon lässt sie uns auch wieder in Ruhe.
Ah, a choice. We get to make a decision. From here, the story is in our control. How important we mustn't squander the opportunity. In fact, I believe I need a minute to think here. Just walk in circles for a minute. Okay, so I know that each door has to lead somewhere, which means that somewhere at the place where we're trying to go, there must be a reverse door that leads here. And that in turn means that our destination corresponds with the counter-inverted reverse door's origin. So starting from the right, let us ask, will taking the right door lead us to where we're going? And since the answer is clearly yes, then by all accounts, the door on the right is the correct one. Another victory for logic. Come, Stanley, our destiny awaits.
Das Verwirrungsende. Langsam
The
abweichen.
confusion ending. You're telling me that's what this is? It's all one giant ending? And we're supposed to restart the game eight times? That's really how all this goes? It's all determined? So now, according to the schedule, I restart again. Then what? Am I just supposed to forget? Well, what if I don't want to forget? My mind goes blank simply because it's written here on this thing, wall. Well, who consulted me? Why don't I get to decide? Why don't I get a say in all of this? Is it really? No, it can't be. I don't want it to be. I don't want the game to keep restarting. I don't want to forget what's going on. I don't want to be trapped like this. I won't restart the game. I won't do it. I won't do it. I won't do it.
Dann machen wir es nicht.
And the timer stopped? Does that mean, did we do it? Did we break the cycle? The, whatever it is that made this schedule? How would we even know? Will someone come for us? Will something happen? So, okay.
Passiert nichts.
I guess now we just wait, you know.
Jo.
I suppose in some way that this is a kind of story, wouldn't you agree?
Ja.
Not quite sure if we're in the destination or the journey, though they're always saying that life is about the journey and not the destination. So I hope that's where we are right now. We'll find out, won't we? Eventually. Well, in the meantime, if you do...
Hä? What the...
Stanley knew the office layout like the back of his hand. It was only a matter of time before he found the others, wherever they were. Just a matter of time. Oh, please. Are you really just doing this for the achievement? Click a door 5 times. Is that all that you think an achievement is worth? No, no. I can't just give these merits away for such... Stanley clicked on literally every single door in the office. And so he detoured through the maintenance section, walked straight ahead to the opposite door, and
das hat jetzt nichts gebracht. Dann machen wir hier weiter. Na gut, dann. Meeting room.
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there.
Okay. Targets. Push for funding for R&D of new coffee machine. Not efficient. Who moved my desk? Please keep the targets on the topic of blah blah blah. You most of all. Everyone is unique. You most of all. Number of slides in this slide, on the slide. Slides, charts, charts and slides. Rate at which charts on the same slide depict the same information. Rate of increase. Please no more charts, I'm begging. The boss appreciation minute. Circle the top 20 things you love most about your boss. Fill out a triplicate and return to your boss application. Solving interpersonal conflict. If you ever find yourself in a conflict with another diligent employee like yourself, but more inclined to what? Okay. Na gut. Broom closet.
Stanley stepped into the broom closet, but there was nothing here, so he turned around and got back on track.
Nö. Ich bleib jetzt hier. Ich glaube, hier gab's irgendwas.
There was nothing here. No choice to make, no path to follow. Just an empty broom closet. No reason to still be here.
All that's missing is a cord. Wait, what? Ah! Entschuldigung. Das war...
It was baffling that Stanley was still just sitting in the broom closet. He wasn't even doing anything. At least if there was something to interact with, he'd be justified in some way. As it is, he's literally just standing there doing sweet FA.
Ja, und genau das mache ich jetzt auch. Einfach hier stehen bleiben und Däumchen drehen.
Are you really still in the broom closet? Standing around doing nothing? Why? Please offer me some explanation here. I'm genuinely confused. You do realize there's no choice or anything in here, right? If I'd said Stanley walked past the broom closet, at least you would have had a reason for exploring it to find out. But it didn't even occur to me because literally this closet is of absolutely no significance to the story whatsoever. I never would have thought to mention it. Maybe to you this is somehow its own branching path. Maybe when you go talk about this with your friends, you'll say, "Oh, did you get the broom closet ending? The broom closet ending was my favorite." I hope your friends find this concerning. Stanley was fat and ugly and really, really stupid. He probably only got the job because of a family connection. That's how stupid he is. That or with drug money. Also, Stanley is addicted to drugs and hookers.
Okay, jetzt ist sehr lustig.
Well, I've come to a very definite conclusion about what's going on right now. You're dead. You got to this broom closet, explored it a bit, and were just about to leave because there's nothing here, when a physical malady of some sort shut down your central nervous system and you collapsed on the keyboard. Well, in a situation like this, the responsible thing is to alert someone nearby so as to ensure that your body is taken care of before it begins to decompose. Hello? Anyone who happens to be nearby?
Ich nehme mal, was meine
The person
Kopfhörer
of this
aufhat.
computer is dead. They have fallen prey to any number of your countless human physiological vulnerabilities. It's indicative of the long-term sustainability of your species. Please remove their corpse from the area and instruct another human to take their place, making sure they understand basic first-person video game mechanics and filling them in on the history of narrative tropes in video gaming, so that the irony and insightful commentary of this game is not lost on them. All right, when you've done that, just step out into the hallway.
Nö, ich warte jetzt noch ein bisschen länger. Passiert nichts? Passiert doch was? Weiß nicht.
Ah, second player. It's good to have you on board. I guarantee you can't do any worse than the person who came before you. You too? Unbelievable. I'm at the mercy of an entire species of invalids. Perhaps there's a monkey nearby you can hand the controls to. The fish? Fungus? Look, you can hammer out the details. I'm not particularly picky. I'll just be waiting for when you're ready to pick up the story again.
Okay, and jetzt? Oh. Oh. Oh, Mann. Ah.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Also runter. Schön ins rote Licht.
But Stanley just couldn't do it. He considered the possibility of facing his boss. Admitting he had left his post during work hours, he might be fired for that. And in such a competitive economy, why had he taken that risk? All because he believed everyone had vanished? His boss would think he was crazy. And then something occurred to Stanley. Maybe, he thought to himself, maybe I am crazy. All of my co-workers blinking mysteriously out of existence in a single moment for no reason at all. None of it made any logical sense. And as Stanley pondered this, he began to make other strange observations. For example, why couldn't he see his feet when he looked down? Why did doors close automatically behind him wherever he went? And for that matter, these rooms were starting to look pretty familiar. Were they simply repeating? No, Stanley said to himself, this is all too strange. This can't be real. And at last, he came to the conclusion that had been on the tip of his tongue. He just hadn't found the words for it. "I'm dreaming!" he yelled. "This is all a dream."
Das wiederholt sich ja echt
What
alles.
relief Stanley felt to have finally found an answer, an explanation. His co-workers weren't actually gone. He wasn't going to lose his job. He wasn't crazy after all. And he thought to himself, I suppose I'll wake up soon. I'll have to go back to my boring real-life job pushing buttons. I may as well enjoy this while I'm still lucid. So he imagined himself flying and began to gently float above the ground. Then he imagined himself
Cool.
soaring through space on a magical starfield, and it too appeared. It was so much fun,
Wow.
and Stanley marveled that he had still not woken up. How was he remaining so lucid?
Cool.
And then perhaps the strangest question of them all entered Stanley's head. One he was amazed he hadn't asked himself sooner. Why is there a voice in my head dictating everything that I'm doing and thinking? Now the voice was describing itself being considered by Stanley, who found it particularly strange. I'm dreaming about a voice describing me, thinking about how it's describing my thoughts, he thought. And while he thought it all very odd and wondered if this voice spoke to all people in their dreams, the truth was that, of course, this was not a dream. How could it be? Was Stanley simply deceiving himself, believing that if he's asleep, he doesn't have to take responsibility for himself? Stanley is as awake right now as he's ever been in his life. Now, hearing the voice speak these words was quite a shock to Stanley. After all, he knew for certain, beyond a doubt, that this was in fact a dream. Did the voice not see him float and make the magical stars just a moment ago? How else would the voice explain all that? This voice was a part of himself too. Surely, if he could just... He would prove it. He would prove that he was in control, that this was a dream. So he closed his eyes gently, and he invited himself to wake up. He felt the cool weight of the blanket on his skin, the press of the mattress on his back, the fresh air of a world outside this one. Let me wake up, he thought to himself. I'm through with this dream. I wish it to be over. Let me go back to my job. Let me continue pushing the buttons. Please, it's all I want. I want my apartment, and my wife, and my job. All I want is my life exactly the way it's always been. My life is normal. I am normal. Everything will be fine. I am okay.
I have the feeling he's not okay. Oh.
Stanley began screaming. Please, someone wake me up. My name is Stanley. I have a boss. I have an office. I am real. Please, just someone tell me I am real. I must be real. I must be. Can anyone hear my voice? Who am I? Who am I? And everything went black.
Okay, und jetzt?
This is the story of a woman named Mariella.
Was?
Mariella woke up on a day like any other. She arose, got dressed, gathered her belongings, and walked to her place of work. But on this particular day, her walk was interrupted by the body of a man who had stumbled through town talking and screaming to himself, and then collapsed dead on the sidewalk. And although she would soon turn to go call for an ambulance, for just a few brief moments she considered the strange man. He was obviously crazy, this much she knew. Everyone knows what crazy people look like. And in that moment, she thought to herself how lucky she was to be normal. I am sane. I am in control of my mind. I know what is real and what isn't. It was comforting to think this, and in a certain way, seeing this man made her feel better. But then she remembered the meeting she had scheduled for that day, the very important people whose impressions of her would affect her career, and by extension, the rest of her life. She had no time for this, so it was only a moment that she stood there, staring down at the body. And then she turned and ran.
Okay. Ich bin wieder hier.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Na gut. The end is never, the end is never, the end is never, the end is never, the end is never. Okay,
No
guck
matter
mal.
how hard Stanley looked, he couldn't find a trace
Bisschen
of
was
his
ändert sich hier
co-workers.
durchaus. Ich würde aber tatsächlich soweit das Spiel beenden jetzt erstmal, weil ich nehme seit fast 2 Stunden auf und irgendwie ich könnte das noch ein bisschen weiterspielen, aber ich habe nicht den ganzen Tag Zeit, irgendwie alles zu machen. Ich müsste den Kram auch noch schneiden und ich will noch anderen Kram aufnehmen. Und ich glaube, für den Anfang war das eigentlich ganz nett. Vielleicht werde ich das nochmal weiterspielen, vielleicht auch nicht. Ich muss mal gucken, wie so meine Lust und Laune sind. Vielleicht spiele ich auch dann was anderes weiter. Wie gesagt, ich muss einfach mal gucken. Ich hoffe, euch hat das soweit gefallen. Lasst auf jeden Fall eine Bewertung da. Das hilft mir zumindest, um zu sehen, gefällt es sowas, gefällt es sowas nicht. Tipps, Tricks, Anregungen, weil ich es auch noch so zocken kann, ist alles natürlich immer sehr gerne in den Kommentaren gesehen. Da könnt ihr euch wirklich mal austoben. Wenn mir die Videos allgemein gefallen, dann lasst doch gerne ein Abo da. Das würde mich zumindest sehr freuen. Noch mehr würde es mich freuen, wenn ihr dann auch die Glocke aktiviert, weil dann verpasst ihr auch wirklich keine Benachrichtigung mehr. Und ansonsten wünsche ich euch noch einen wunderschönen Tag. Ich verabschiede mich mit einem Plan. Wir sehen uns. Bis dann. Und